الحمد لله الذي جعل اليوم العاشر من شهر الله المحرم من أيام المباركة وتعظيم المسلمين له والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وبعد. Al-Amr Thani. We are now on the second matter regarding Al-Ashura, and the question is asked: هل فرض صيام على المسلمين قبل رمضان? Was there any kind of compulsory fast on the Muslims before Ramadan? اختلف أهل العلم من السلف في ذلك. The people of knowledge from the righteous predecessors differ on that in two opinions. القول الأول, the first view: لم يفرض على المسلمين صياما قبل رمضان وهذا قول جمهور العلماء. The first opinion states that no kind of fasting was made compulsory upon the Muslims before Ramadan, and this position is held by the majority of scholars. القول الثاني, the second view: فرض على المسلمين قبل رمضان صيام عاشوراء ثم نسخ الحكم والوجوب إلى الاستحباب وهذا قول أبي حنيفة وأحمد وهو شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية. This second opinion states that fasting on Ashura was binding on the Muslims but then became abrogated with the establishment of Ramadan. In other words, before the obligation of fasting in Ramadan came into effect, the people and the Muslims were obligated to fast the day of Ashura. When Ramadan fast became established, the ruling of Ashura fast became recommended. This minority viewpoint seems to be the dominant position on the matter, and the scholars who belong to this group include Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Ahmad, and Ibn Taymiyyah. They take their evidence from the statement of quite a number of major companions such as Aisha ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Abdullah ibn Abbas, and Rabi' bint Ma'uz radiyallahu anhum. Now let's quote from the statement of each one of these companions. First, from Aisha. قالت كان يوم عاشوراء تصومه قريش في الجاهلية وكان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يصومه فلما قدم المدينة صامه وأمر بصيامه فلما نزل رمضان كان رمضان الفريضة وترك عاشوراء فكان من شاء صامه ومن شاء لم يصمه. Aisha reported that the Quraysh used to fast on the day of Ashura during the pre-Islamic days. The Messenger of Allah then commanded to fast that day until Ramadan became obligatory. Then the Messenger of Allah said, "He who wishes to fast should do so, and he who wishes not to fast may do so." From Ibn Umar, قال صام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عاشورا وأمر بصيامه فلما فرض رمضان ترك. He said the Messenger of Allah observed fasting on Ashura and ordered the Muslims to fast on that day. But when fasting of Ramadan was prescribed, the obligation of fasting Ashura was cancelled. From Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, قال فلما فرض رمضان ترك عاشورا. He said, once Ramadan was obligated, the obligation of Ashura was discarded. From Abdullah ibn Abbas, قال قدم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم المدينة فرى اليهود تصوم يوم عاشورا. He said that after the Prophet entered Medina and inquired from the Jews why they were fasting on Ashura, they replied, هذا يوم عظيم أنجى الله فيه موسى وقومه وغرق فرعون وقومه فصامه موسى شكرا فنحن نصومه. This is a great day. It is the day when Allah liberated the children of Israel from their enemies. Allah drowned Pharaoh and his people. So Musa fasted on this day out of gratitude to Allah, and we fast too. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فنحن وحق وأولى بموسى منكم فصامه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأمر بصيامه. The Prophet responded to the Jews, "We are closer to Musa than you," so he fasted that day and commanded the Muslims to fast. From Rabi' bint Ma'uz, and she said, قالت أرسل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم غداة عاشوراء إلى قرى الأنصار من أصبح مفطرا فليتم بقية يومه وَمَنْ أَصْبَحَ صَائِمًا فَلْيَصُمْ. She said the Prophet sent a messenger to the village of the Ansar in the morning of the day of Ashura to announce, whoever has eaten something should not eat but complete the fast, and whoever is observing the fast should complete it. قالت فكنا نصومه بعد ونصوم صبياننا ونجعل لهم اللعبة من العهن فإذا بكى أحدهم على الطعام أعطيناه ذلك حتى يكون عند الإفطار. She further said, since then we used to fast on that day of Ashura regularly and also make our children fast. We used to make toys of wool for the kids, and if any one of them cried for food, he was given those toys until it was the time for breaking the fast. Undoubtedly, all of these narrations clearly indicate that it may have been legally binding to fast on the day of Ashura, and then it reduced to being highly recommended to facilitate a greater obligation, that is fasting in Ramadan, and Allah knows best. But whether fasting of Ashura was obligatory or not, what matters now is the fact that this day of fasting is an avenue of perpetual blessings for us, as the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, وَالصِّيَامُ يَوْمِ عَاشُورَ أَحْتَسِبُ عَلَى اللَّهِ أَنْ يُكَفِّرَ السَّنَةَ الَّتِي قَبْلَهُ. Fasting the day of Ashura is of great merit. I hope that Allah will accept it as an expiation for the previous year. It should, however, be noted that according to the scholars, the sins mentioned in the hadith are the minor ones, not major sins. قال شيخ الإسلام وتكثير الطهارة والصلاة والصيام رمضان وعرفة وعاشورا للصغائر فقط. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah said, ritual purity, salah, fasting in Ramadan, on the day of Arafah, and on Ashura expiate for minor sins only. Imam Nawawi said, يُكَفِّرُ كُلَّ الذُّنُوبِ الصَّغَائِرِ وَتَقْدِيرُهُ يَغْفِرُ ذُنُوبَهُ كُلَّهَا إِلَّا الْكَبَائِرِ. Ashura expiates for all minor sins, that is, it brings forgiveness of all sins except major sins. ثُمَّ قال, then he said, وَجَدَ مَا يُكَفِّرُهُ مِنَ الصَّغَائِرِ كَفَّرَهُ وَإِن لَمْ يُصَادِفْ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرَةً كُتِبَتْ بِهِ حَسَنَاتٌ وَرُفِعَتْ لَهُ بِهِ دَرَجَاتٌ. If there are no minor or major sins, it will be recorded for the person as good deeds and he will be elevated in status. ثُمَّ قال, then he said, وَإِن صَادَفَ كَبِيرَةً أَوْ كَبَائِرَ وَلَمْ يُصَادِفْ صَغَائِرَ رَجَوْنَا أَن تُخَفِّفَ مِنَ الْكَبَائِرِ. If the person had committed major sins but no minor sins, we hope that his major sins will be reduced. That's how the scholars explain the hadith. But whatever the situation is, minor or major, we know that even our minor sins are enough to rain down upon us destruction. So here, our Creator is being merciful to us by blotting out all those sins from our slate through the purification of this one single day of fasting for one entire year. Of course, as in accordance with the sunnah and the practice of the companions, if we fast both days, the 9th and the 10th, combined together, the reward will be multiplied and more sins will be washed away by Allah's infinite grace. Allahumma narju rahmatak wa nakhsha azabak faghfir lana zunubana wa qina azab an-nar.